Good day, everybody. As we said, I look after the relationship with Google on everything is about contact center and Google CCAI, so artificial intelligence integration. And my role is across sales and technical stuff, so I'm a kind of BDM. So I'm very glad to take both the sales and the technical questions. So I will give you an overview of what we are doing, and also some examples of the literally thousands of use cases that we could address with the combined Cisco and Google Cloud architectures. From a business point of view, the contact center is at the kind of turning point. So the vast majority of the contact center existing are being renewed in the next 2-3 years because there are plenty of changes and trends, changes in the technology, like the opportunity to integrate artificial intelligence to enhance the performances and the quality of the service delivered by the contact center. There are also changes in the architecture. A lot of the customers are looking at the migration to cloud. So I would say if there is a good time to look into what AI can bring to your contact center operations and services, I think it's now. Definitely, it's now. And it's also a kind of journey because, as I keep saying, the potential of artificial intelligence applied to the contact center, which is a kind of natural ground where you can unleash the power of artificial intelligence, is virtually limitless. It's just a matter of identifying the best specific use case for your company, and then the technology, one way or the other, can address that. So there are some challenges, of course, the customers are facing as well. So the strong competition, especially in these challenging markets, is requiring a strong focus on customer experience, and therefore the contact center is the primary IT tool to deliver customer experience, and therefore this is one of the business metrics which is used. And AI can bring a lot of advantages in terms of customer experience delivered by contact center, as we will see. There are the challenges I just said, like moving to cloud, but there are also challenges on the client side because it's no longer the traditional call center which is able to gather audio calls from phones. The vast majority of the customers now are much more keen to chat the contact center first, to use any of the social chat tools available on smartphones, and therefore the contact center has the challenge to deliver a unique experience across multiple different digital and traditional channels, which might not be that easy, and artificial intelligence can help here as well, as we will see. Finally, I mean, there is the the looping, never-ending, only objective to increase the productivity, lower the cost, and therefore raise the profitability of the contact center, which is very often a huge cost center for large enterprises. Okay, as we said, I mean, the innovation brought to contact center by artificial intelligence in terms of creation of virtual agents, called bots, but I think the right terminology should be virtual agents, but also other improvements in the AI technology, such as the natural language understanding, the speech recognition, etc., are making today the combo of AI and contact center a successful one. So Cisco and Google signed a partnership also on this front, as Pierre was saying, which means that on top of the technology partnership we are going to detail from now on, there is also a commercial partnership. So Cisco is reselling as part of our portfolio and through our channel partners, those partners who are managing the Cisco contact center, also the Google AI services. So there is a very cleared, unique go-to-market where the customer could buy Cisco product solution services and Google AI services with through one partner, one bill, one invoice. Okay. Very quickly, because it's important when we talk about the Cisco contact center, we are talking about a portfolio of different solutions, not just one solution. So I don't want to go too deeper into the details, but I would like to highlight a couple of different solutions. So first solution I would like to highlight is called WebEx Contact Center. Okay, this WebEx Contact Center solution comes only as a service, so it's a cloud solution. It's managed by Cisco, so it's coming out of a Cisco data center. Therefore, it's a multi-tenant cloud contact center solution. Of course, we always sell those solutions through our partners, but it's delivered directly, like WebEx, for example, directly from a Cisco data center. And it's mainly targeting the commercial market. It scales also to several thousand of users. So it's not a matter of the size, it's a matter of the business model, the combination of features, scalability, etc. It's targeting not large, complex enterprises like a big bank, but it's targeting commercial-like use cases. So could be also, I don't know, a retail chain with 1,000 of agents, but with the requirements of a retail chain, which is closer to the commercial business. Then we have a different set of platforms, which are all based on the same software. So the platform is fundamentally the same, but we deliver those solutions in different ways. So it could be delivered on premises. So everything is installed at customer site, and we call it Contact Center Enterprise. So Contact Center Enterprise is a software solution plus hardware, of course, delivered on premises. And that's where we have the majority of the install base. The same software, fundamentally, could also come from a partner data center. So it's a cloud solution delivered by a partner. Or again, the same service based on the same platform could be delivered by a Cisco data center, and therefore it's called WebEx Contact Center Enterprise. So fundamentally, when you see the word enterprise, we are referring to the software platform. When you see WebEx Contact Center, we are referring to the public cloud multi-tenant solution. With both these solutions, we have a full integration with Google CCAI. I'm going to detail right now. So for the WebEx Contact Center, well, for the WebEx Contact Center, the integration is very simple, simply because it comes out of the box. So the WebEx Contact Center is a software as a service. Therefore, everything will be configured in a cloud on a portal which is called Cisco Control Lab by your partners, including the CCAI integration. So whatever is the Google agent, the Google bot created to automate services, both on chat and voice, or just chat or just voice. I mean, the integration will be as easy as configuring some web pages to turn on the integration across Google Cloud and Cisco Cloud in this case. So there isn't too much more to say other than that. So we can deliver the integration of a voice or a chat bot or a voice IVR into the WebEx Contact Center platform by simply properly configuring that. So it's very simple, straightforward business, and delivered by our partners. So any information, any need that you have on that, I mean, we can have a deep dive, but it doesn't have too many architectural customization things to talk about, because it's simply a combo of cloud services, software as a services. Very different is the situation when we talk about the enterprise platform. Regardless it's in cloud or it's on premise, it doesn't matter. So the integration is the same, and the kind of customization which are possible are the same. So when we talk about these two possibilities, we have also a roadmap, and we have also some requirements, because those enhancements have been introduced recently. So on the software contact center enterprise platform, regardless it's again on premise or in the cloud, let me say the main requirement is you need to run the 12.5 software release to have the plugin to talk to Google directly. So 12.5 is the software release needed. There are no licenses needed on Cisco side, so provided you have the software release, the Google support is for free. Of course, the Google services are not for free and could be ordered through Cisco, as I said. For what is concerning the new features that we are now about to release to some early customers, for example, Agent Answers, which is what Google is calling Agent Assist, which is a specific service delivered by Google. We are in beta, and therefore we have the early customers now in October and in November. If anybody is interested in becoming a beta for those services, just let me know, because I'm coordinating the beta for that as well. So that's it. That's a very quick overview of what is available. As I said here, the integration on the cloud WebEx contact center is simply out of the box through the cloud configuration. The one that we are delivering on the contact center enterprise platform is a little bit more tricky, simply because there are incredible customization possibilities across Google and the Cisco CC solution. One point I would like to make clear since the beginning: any large enterprise company deciding to integrate artificial intelligence into their existing contact center will need the customizations to match their precise use case. If someone is saying that, no, there is an out-of-the-box solution which perfectly fits, it's not true. Trust me, it's not true. Because even the same two customers in the same vertical with the same solution, they will need something slightly different, because they have a different CRM, because they store the data in a different way, because the agent desktop is different. So because of 1,000 reasons, you will need some customization. So that's important, because you need to consider that it's not just about subscribing a service and flagging a couple of things on a configuration platform to make it works. It has to be designed, it has to be agreed across the IT and the business, and it has to be delivered by a very skilled partner. Okay. It's a challenge. Yeah, maybe it's a challenge, but what we can deliver in terms of business value will pay off immediately this, let me say, technology complexity. The way it works is very simple. So when we receive an incoming voice call into our platforms, enterprise software platforms, regardless where they are, we have a criteria in our, let me say, call control, in our routing and scripting of the contact center to decide to stream the incoming audio to Google through the Google Remote Procedure Control protocol that we have implemented in 12.5 in our platform. So therefore, there will be a native HTTPS session on which we stream audio to Google Dialogflow, and we will connect, we will request to the Dialogflow voice API a specific project ID, which is associated on Google Dialogflow with the virtual agent. And from there on, the control of the dialogue, the interaction with the client, so question and answers, intent detection, entity detections, etc., is up to Google. So it's Google which is driving the IVR logic. The call will be returned to Cisco once Google is done, so decides that the call is over. And there could be two things happening. One thing is we drop the call because it's finished and Google is telling us, okay, I've done. You can hang up. Or the call could be escalated to an agent because this is required by the bot. So the bot maybe was not able to help with all the questions, or for whatever reason, maybe the client wanted to talk to a person, wanted to talk to an agent. So there is this possibility, etc. Now, I'm keeping this simple. Of course, it could be much more complex than that, but trust me that between the option of customization and configuration of our platforms, especially here on the CVP, and between the possibility you have on Dialogflow with fulfillment, with external applications, so you can reach to web services and webhooks, etc., we will be able to deliver very complex automation of your business processes. Okay. That's fundamentally an overview of the interaction between the contact center enterprise and the Google Dialogflow platform. One point we can talk about is where are your data, because AI without data is like a wonderful car with a tank empty. So when you're using this kind of logic, where the the logic of the dialogue between the client and Google is, of course, all up to Google, and therefore everything is managed here, it's a good idea to have your CRM, your data repository in cloud, because if it is on premise, then you need to solve probably some security issues because you need to enable an open channel, an open communication between your CRM here and Google here in the cloud. So I don't mean it's not possible. Certainly, you need to consider this part of the design, which is not 100% related to AI, natural language understanding, and these kind of things, but it's mainly related to networking and security. Okay, there is a different mode which we call a mode 2. I'm not going to talk about that now. If there are questions, I will address that, which is hybrid. So let me say the control of the logic of the dialogue is partly here and partly here, and that model fits much better when you have the CRM, the data repository, all the customer data, etc., on premises. Okay, so we have both. Here I'm just showing the first one because otherwise, as a first explanation, becomes too complex. But we have both approaches, so don't be worried if you don't have your CRM in cloud on Google Cloud, on the Google Cloud platform. Now, where we apply artificial intelligence into a contact center? Well, most of the cases, customers believe that, well, it's a matter of bots, virtual agents, call it as you prefer. Could be a chat bot, could be a voice bot, etc. Well, while certainly that's the case, I would say artificial intelligence scope is much broader than that. And we at Cisco, we can integrate artificial intelligence in many other places in a contact center, adding a lot of value. Well, first point I would like to highlight, again, we can apply artificial intelligence across all the channels. So it's not just voice, it's not just chat, it could be voice, chat, social, SMS, emails, etc. And therefore, you can take advantage of AI on top of all the different channels you have. And very important, you can deliver the same kind of experience across all the channels. So regardless your customer is chatting you or is calling you, you get the same kind of experience, which is very much important. Once let me say it's an audio call and we get the call into our contact center, one of the first things that we can do is to apply artificial intelligence to the IVR. Applying artificial intelligence to the IVR has a lot of benefits because this will make the IVR suitable to deliver self-services, for example, which is what the customers want to do. They would love to find the answers by themselves and not having to talk to neither to a bot nor to an agent. So a conversational IVR, which is the combination of AI and IVR, will deliver that. We can turn on virtual agents or bots, as you prefer, and deflect some of the calls which are today managed by real agents to virtual agents. Or we can also, let me say, save some of the time, so make the call shorter because of the self-services and because of the fact that we may, for example, route the most difficult questions to the in-person agents, and the simple one will be delivered by the virtual agent, so making the overall call center much more scalable. But there is much more than that, because once the call went through the IVR, and for example, you still need to identify an agent to talk to, I mean, there is a process in the contact center which is called routing. And in Cisco Contact Center Enterprise Platform, we have two kinds of routing algorithms. One is called precision queuing, and it's highly customizable and I would say almost unique in the market routing mechanism where you can assign specific attributes to each and every agent, and then you define with an equation the routing mechanism for the call. Now, what we can do is we can condition this routing to what Google Dialogflow is telling us from the interaction with the client. So the client is talking to a virtual agent or to a conversational IVR and is expressing some needs, something they need, etc. Google is giving back that context, those intents, those entities, but also those emotions, for example, the sentiment of the client during the call to the Cisco Contact Center, and the Cisco Contact Center can decide to route the call based on those data. For example, let's assume there is a call from a customer that we do recognize being a VIP customer. And let's say Google is telling us, listen, Cisco, the sentiment of the call was not that great. So the customer was upset. So we may want to decide with precision queuing that a VIP customer with a bad sentiment will need a very expert, very good agent. And therefore, we will, let me say, change dynamically and intelligently the routing mechanism to cherry pick the best available expert agent for that specific call. Of course, as you can understand, this is just an example. You can condition the routing to any of the parameter, any of the intent returned by the AI Dialogflow conversation with the client. And this is, of course, a matter of improving customer experience, increasing the first call resolutions, etc. Much more, when the call is up to an agent, even if the agent is talking live with the client, there could be a service which we call Agent Answers, and Google is calling Agent Assistant, which will proactively look for and dynamically look for possible answers the agent could give to the client. So this will help the agent to better answer, quicker answer, so reducing the average handle time for the call, helping junior agents, agents not fully trained, for example, to deliver a much better service, simply because AI in parallel proactively look for the answers the agents need to deliver to the customer. And finally, we are already able, with some examples I can give you, to use AI, artificial intelligence, to dig into the big data delivered by a contact center, to pull out of those huge amount of data, which is well beyond the analytics power of human brains, the business correlation, the areas of improvements, the suggestion how to improve the business, and therefore even roll those suggestions back to the contact center, for example, to keep improving the IVR, to keep improving the routing, and to keep improving, for example, the knowledge base needed to assist agents. So closing virtually the loop and constantly dynamically evolving the quality of the delivered services. I think this dynamic is typical of contact centers. So let me recap in a visual way, and then I will show you one or two examples. So as we said, we can apply artificial intelligence to an incoming audio call into a Cisco contact center, and we can deliver that call to Google Virtual Agent, so a bot, fundamentally able to take the voice call. That's what we call in Cisco Virtual Agent, and Google is calling that agent, voice agent. So, but we can still take the call to a real agent and assist the agent with the proactive, push of information, documentation, URLs the agent need to answer the call, making the agent better, quicker in answering the calls. So this is called in Cisco Agent Answers, and it's called in Cisco Agent Assistant. So one more point, very important in my opinion. When the call is going to the agent, before going to the agent, in every contact center, it's going through an IVR. And all the existing IVRs do have today a touch tone IVR or even a speech IVR. But the point is that it's based on a static IVR tree. It's based on a static flow of menus with options, a sub-menu with extra options, which is delivering the typical frustrating experience each of us had when dialing a traditional contact center. And this is a kind of short blanket. There is no way to improve that because it's based on a static tree legacy technology. What we can do is apply artificial intelligence to the IVR, to the existing one. That's very important, transition plan to the existing IVR solution you have with Cisco, and turn that into a conversational IVR. The main difference is that at this point, the customer will speak to the IVR because the customer will speak to Google, and Google will be able to understand immediately what's the option the customer is looking for, even if it's ideally the last one of the previous three. So you will be able to immediately jumpstart to the required service by the customer, improving the customer experience, delivering services, and also saving money, because you don't need escalations, and maybe you keep the client happy and shorter in the call with the contact center. So this is what we call conversational IVR. Once the caller has gone through the conversational IVR, you can still engage an agent and you can still assist the agent. So as you can understand, all the bricks I'm describing here could be combined in the way you prefer to deliver a wonderful quality of the services. And those I described so far are just a few of the possibilities we have. So there are many more Lego bricks you can use to build a contact center of the future. Let me show you an example of this solution pulled together, and so that you have also an example which probably fits in many of the customers. Let's assume we don't want to boil the ocean. We want to optimize your service by 10%. Optimize very often means saving 10% of the cost, okay? Well, there is one way to do that. It's very simple. So, okay, perfect. Let's make sure that 90% of the calls is still managed by agents and 10% of the calls are managed by a voice bot. That's certainly possible, but it's complex. And it's complex for the simple reason that the 10% of the calls managed by the bot, you need the bot able to manage all the flavors of that call, the human interaction, which could be very different for that call. So you can do that because the Google technology allows you to do that. But if it's your first approach to that, probably it's not the best idea, okay? There is another way to do that, to achieve that in a much easier way with exactly the same cost savings, which is the following. You get the incoming call, all the incoming calls for any service in the beginning are always looking the same. So there is a data collection dialogue between the agent and the client. What's your name? What's the reason you're calling? What's your contract ID? When you want to fly? What kind of class you need to book your ticket? The usual very structured dialogue with the boring questions for the agent to ask, and the agent should not ask those boring repetitive questions. The bot can do that. Google can do that in a much easier way than managing the entire conversation. Once this is done, you can still escalate the call to the agent who is managing the most complex piece of the dialogue, such as, I don't know, booking the ticket or answering off the context questions from the customers, such as what's the weather in New York, because I'm flying to New York, which is not part of the booking process, but it's a question which could be raised. And this is going to achieve the same exactly business objective. You still save 10% of the time for each call, which means optimizing by 10% the contact center operations, but with a much easier first step in terms of technical difficulties and implementation. So this is by far the suggestion I have for you. Of course, then you can apply all the rest. You can still apply agent assistant, etc. Now, the example I'm going to show you with the demo, and then we close, is very complex, just to show you that it's possible to deliver these crazy, amazing services also in existing complex solutions. So you will see an incoming call, audio call from my mobile phone. So I will be the client. The call will land in a Cisco Contact Center Enterprise solution on-premise in a Cisco lab in Rome. The Cisco lab will stream the audio call to Google Dialogflow platform somewhere in the world. I have no idea where is the data center serving that call. Google will have a dialogue with the client, with myself. There is a bot to perform a flight booking operation. So the bot will ask me the preliminary information. Once all the information are collected, the bot will return the call to the Cisco contact center and will return also the context. So all what the bot has discussed with me, with the client, to the Google platform, and the to the Cisco platform, and the Cisco platform will route the call to an agent which is using Salesforce.com from cloud. So you have two different cloud platforms here, Salesforce and Google, and one on-premise platform, Cisco. And on the desktop of the agent, which has been picked to handle that call, we will render precisely the context of everything that the bot has discussed with the client. So from there on, the agent, which is myself again, will be able to close the ticket booking processes without asking again the same questions to the customers. So let me go into the demo. Let me see if everything is still up and running. I will switch first of all here. Okay, so this is my agent desktop. I log in into Salesforce. Okay,
just to give you a heads up, Max, we've got about 9 minutes left.
How many?
9 minutes.
Wow, plenty of time. In 9 minutes, I can run 10 demonstrations. Okay, now as you can see, this is the Salesforce.com agent desktop used by this company. So it's a very common case. It could be ServiceNow, could be any CRM. We have connectors to turn on any CRM integration with our contact centers. In this case, I pick Salesforce.com and I logged in as an agent here. So this is my phone number, which is a soft client in this case. So I will be playing the role of the client and the agent at the same time while presenting. So that's the unique challenge that an Italian can take to be fundamentally in 3 simultaneous calls at the same time. So let's give it a try. I'm picking my phone now and I'm pretending being the client, and I'm going to place a call if I find a number. Here we are. So I hope you can hear that. I will do my best.
Welcome to the Cisco Rome demo facilities. For dialogue flow, press 1. Welcome to Flight Booking.
This is the bot.
To speed up the service, I'll collect your booking requests and answer your questions before connecting to an agent. What can I do for you?
Hi, my name is Max, and I would like to fly to London from Frankfurt tomorrow at 5 p.m., and I need the business class.
Many thanks. This is a summary of your travel request. I will book a flight for Massimiliano Caranzano from Frankfurt to London in business. The requested travel date is at tomorrow at 5 p.m. Do you need any extra reservations such as parking, car rental, taxi, hotel?
Yes, I need car rental.
Okay, I have added car rentals to your itinerary to London. Let me now connect to an agent to complete your reservation.
Now the call has been escalated to an agent. 1 second. Let me lower the volume, otherwise. Jesus. Okay, done. So now, fundamentally, I'm the agent. I'm in the call with the client. And on my desktop, I've got a pop-up menu, which is fundamentally the context of the dialogue that me, the client, had with Dialogflow agent, virtual agent bot. And he's telling me, okay, so this customer, Massimiliano Caranzano, please notice that I didn't say my name is Massimiliano Caranzano. I said my name is Max. So in the Cisco, in the Dialogflow, we have performed a kind of identification of the caller and my name, because I'm an existing customer. So Dialogflow was able to look up my real name and repeating my real name from Frankfurt to London in business class. And the requested travel date is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And I do need a car rental. So that's fundamentally the message. You see the full context. Of course, this could be customized. We could pre-fill in a form on the CRM. As you can understanding, I'm just throwing everything here, but could be customized in a very precise way. And the agent from now on just have to check the available tickets and discuss with the client which one he wants, the cost, etc., and go ahead and book the deal. So this is an example of a Cisco contact center, Google Cloud AI, Salesforce Cloud integration to deliver automation of a voice call for a booking service. In this case, of course, it's just an example. It's a flight booking, but could be any kind of process you want to automate across the three platforms, which is delivered by the combined solutions. I don't know if you have questions on that. I think this is probably very close to many specific use cases you have in your environment. Is there any question?
If anyone has any questions, feel free just to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat.
Max, have you got the Agent Assist demo working?
I don't have it yet. I can show you some screenshots. So we have it, but I don't have access to that yet. I can show you some screenshot of the Agent Assistant. So the Agent Assistant is, well, think fundamentally to the same. So this is could be Salesforce. In this case, it's Finesse. So it's the Finesse Agent Desktop, but it could be the same you have seen for the demo. It's the agent desktop. The agent is in an active call. You see here that the agent is talking. It's talking here. It's in a voice call. The way it works is very simple. So Google will be listening and monitoring monitoring the ongoing conversation between the client and the agent, will perform two things, fundamentally speech to text and natural language understanding, will detect intents dynamically, so what the client and the agent are talking about, and will look into a knowledge base provided by the customer, between brackets, I will explain you what I mean by that, and find possible documentations, answers to the questions asked by the client in a dynamic way, which means that if you switch to a different topic, Agent Answer will push and we will render a different list of documents, etc. And the agent will have these suggested answers here. For example, this is a question about maintenance and services. This is a question about, Tesla battery replacements or whatever else, etc. And the agent will decide which of these answers he could use to deliver the answer to the client. So it will not be an automatically delivery. It will be a suggestion to the agent. Of course, we will be ranking the documents according to the best match delivered to us by a metric. Fundamentally, it's a percentage, it's a number, but we prefer to label that simply with high match or neutral. So the agent knows that Google AI believes this is the best answer to the customer questions right now. We also have the ability left to the agent to provide a feedback. So the feedback is a simple thumb up and thumb down, but it's very much important because we will return this feedback to the Google AI model, which means that if you keep flagging thumb down, for example, this first answer, after a little while, this should no longer be the first answer pushed forward by the model, because the model should dynamically consider the feedback and rework the ranking of the documents for that specific question. And this could also be used by the supervisor to monitor the quality of the agents, the way the agents are using the feature, are interacting with the customer, etc. So that's a quick overview of Agent Answer and the way it works. A side effect of Agent Answer will be the availability of the call transcript. So the transcription of the dialogue between the client and the agent is a collateral of the Agent Answer process, and that will be made available as well.
Yeah,
again, this will be available in field for early field trials with customers, not internal, beginning of November. So it's a matter of 1 month. I'm working on that right now.
So okay. We've reached 1/2. Just want to double check. Does anyone have any quick questions? Any last questions or comments? Okay, no
any further questions you may have? So it's as simple as this. I mean, mcarranza@cisco.com. Ping me an email. I will help you and point you to the right resources if it's not me. And then I may also suggest a few things you may want to have a look at. We will share the material. So here on my YouTube channel, you have a lot of the demonstration I've just shared with you. I just shared one, and there are many more of possible different use cases combining together Google and Cisco. Here you have some white papers if you want more technicalities. And then, of course, there is the Google side of the same coin on the Google documents on their website.
Perfect. Good stuff. Well, Max, thank you for presenting. And Pierre, thanks for presenting. It's good to have you today.